almost there. No way. What is this? You're tuned in to the Eyes Open podcast, where secrets aren't safe and we see it all.
Well, it is that time of year again. We are getting into June now, so we are getting ready to jump the summer off. And it's just that time of year. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, because of this type of feeling I get around this time of the year. Maybe it's just being more aware of, what's going on around you. Because knowing that June alone is a very, very occultic month for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons people know it is for, obviously, the summer solstice is going to be coming up this month. That marks the actual true, Druid way they used to do. The old occultists would celebrate for the summer solstice, just like they do for the winter solstice, bringing in this new time of year. But what a lot of people don't understand is it's one of the highest occult times of the year for rituals, for a lot of different things that go on. So that's why sometimes people get this type of feeling during summer. And if you're really in tune with what's going on and how this, I would say, spiritual and physical realm, they try to intertwine with each other, you can sense this type of stuff, whether it's the summer solstice or the winter solstice. If you're really in tune to what's going on, you'll also notice that these bigger tragedies start to mount up more around this time of year. Now, a big thing I get asked, because I got asked this recently, it was about, for the people that don't understand the occult numerology, what I like to call the Illuminati numerology, is it surrounds a lot of these events for certain reasons. Now, what I was asked was, they're like, well, if it's like a train wreck or something, where how can they control the number of people that are actually, unalived or could be unalived? Like, how do they, control these numbers? And the way I can explain that is to be honest with you, there could be less or there could be more people that, are unalived in these certain events that they have that, I consider to be rituals. 9/11, I definitely believe, was one of them. But in these types of events, they just simply report certain amount of numbers. It could be above it, could be below it. But like if they have, 12 confirmed killed, they'll kick it up to 13. They do it in a ton of these events. And like I said, if you start looking for these type of master numbers, these occult type numbers, you'll notice them everywhere. And it's also, when you think about it, June was the month that, for the people that don't know who Aleister Crowley is, go look up who Aleister Crowley is. I find it pretty odd that him, Jack Parsons, and I forgot the last guy who went with him, but they went and did a ritual in the desert near Area 51. And as the story goes, they opened a rift in the desert that let all types of dark entities in. Now, this just so happened to be right around the time that Donald Trump was born. So people had said they were trying to summon a star child. So I believe I've talked to you guys about this before too. But see, this is the mark, okay, of the beginning of big things that are going to start happening. Now, we had talked about the April rituals, okay? So those were the spring type of rituals that they have. It's the starting of May Day, of the Illuminati birthday. So a lot of those type of rituals tie into that stuff. And if you haven't noticed, May was a very crazy month. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on in May. And I'm here to tell you, if you think May was crazy, you are going to see a lot of crazy stuff going on this month. Now, I'm not a prophet. not claiming to be. I'm not claiming to be a psychic or some Nostradamus. I'm just going based off of, it's pretty much if you know somebody's playbook, okay? So if somebody was watching a team play sports or something and they're like, okay, I bet you they're going to run this next play and they're going to do this, they're going to do that, this will be their next play, and they run that play, and somebody's like, how in the heck do you know that? And it seems like you're just like psychic or something, but you're not. You just simply read the other team's playbook. That's probably the easiest way I can explain, you know, how I know these types of things, because I've studied the way these people operate for a very long time. So when they run these plays and do these certain things, you know, and plus if you study and understand how their occult type of symbology and numerology works, then you start to see, okay, you can see the next thing coming up and what exactly it's going to be, because you're studying the certain rituals. Like, for example, with June, you have, I did the reel where I talked about Trump's birthday. It's going to be his 80th birthday. Big things for him, big things for everything around him, because it's the 8. Now, if everybody knows the, you know, occult numerology behind 8, but it's very powerful with manifesting. There's lots of 8. You guys can go back and watch the reel that I was talking about. On this show, we're going to break down a little bit more of the meaning behind a lot of these different rituals and a big reason why they do them in the summer. So not only do you have, you'll notice this month, you're going to see, first of all, it's going to be a month of natural disasters. You definitely are going to see, I believe, something we're going to see coming up on the 6th this month. I just don't know why. Got a feeling. And it's also kind of weird that Trump's, I believe his grandmother, whose last name, by the way, was Christ, she died on a 666 date. So that was actually pretty strange that, you know, that happened with her as well. But nevertheless, I mean, if you look at it a certain way, you have a 666 date coming up this year. But I mean, it's based off of a lot of the stuff they're telling you that is actually confirmed, you know, geological things versus, you know, that's not just between the weather, but it's more on a type of natural disaster type of level. So I believe there's going to be a lot of things seen on that front. But the fact that June, because of the summer solstice, is very big on sacrifices that you will see. And that's why if you go look back, go look at a lot of the celebrity type of deaths and tragedies and things in general, the events, just like how we've explained, you know, it's no coincidence that a lot of these events and these rituals take place in April as well, because there's what, 3? Well, the big ones are summer. You get the summer, dog days of summer, so you got about 2 right there. You have Halloween, you have the winter solstice, and then you have April. So you got about 4 or 5 times out of the year that is very occult charged. And they definitely carry out these rituals and all this type of stuff on, you know, this time of year around these certain types of dates. And if you study the dates, that's why I'm saying, if you look into just numerology in general, you will start to see all types of stuff pop out in front of you, and you'll be like, wow, I've never even seen it there. Like how I showed you guys the, what is it? All of the 15s everywhere. The 5-1 or the 1-5, it's everywhere. They put it in news reports, it's in casualty counts, they put it everywhere. The thing is, though, we also got to remember that right after the summer solstice, later on, which is, as I told you, the dog days of summer is when you notice it going into July. That's why it's no surprise to me that even though the Declaration of Independence wasn't signed on July 4th, okay, they're having it on July 4th. They set it for that date because, you know, they were, the founding fathers of the United States were way more into the occult than what people know. I've already done a whole episode about, the presidents and the occult system that we've all been brought up on, and you guys are free to go watch that episode. But pretty much the long story short of that is it's shown right in Washington. This whole country was founded on occultism, on people who were in secret societies and believed in secret oaths and did some weird, esoteric, satanic type of things. Because you got to remember that in the 1600s, in America and over in England, for people studying the black arts, they were either hung, burned at the stake. They could not study that type of stuff over there. Or in America, you would be executed. So if you think about it, there's another interesting thing that it's written in the Constitution that you can have freedom of religion. But people say, oh, but it's, a Christian country brought up on Christian values. Well, it wouldn't have said freedom of religion then. I mean, they could say, hey, you can believe or not believe, but it wouldn't say, hey, you're free to practice any religion you want. Because if people would understand, I'm trying to make sure people can really understand what I mean here when I'm trying to explain this. A country that's built on occult magic, on black magic, on witches and warlocks, which is literally what you're dealing with. You could go with the Latin terms for it. I can explain it in a lot of different ways that people won't understand. But pretty much, the funniest thing is, I find it's kind of, ironic when you think about it. During the Salem witch trials, they were trying to run evil out of the land. They're hanging witches and doing all this stuff, right? Because they didn't want it taking over their society. But when you think about it, it's taken over society now. You go to Salem. I went there one time around in October to see how it was all set up and stuff, because I wanted to, for once in my life, be able to take a trip there. So I went there, and it blew my mind that I was like, hundreds of years ago, they'd hang you for practicing black magic or talking with the devil and this type of stuff. Now it's all over this town. They even have a witch mall, like the mall's the witch mall. I mean, it's crazy. So to me, what I'm trying to explain is, you guys are seeing now what a world built up on pure evil looks like. A world that's completely devoid of, morality, sympathy, a lot of different things that bind humans together on a very human level. It's gone. People are more angry than they've ever been. People are more hateful than they've ever been. So this type of energy, these forces that rule your world, okay, they feed off of this, and they want it to be like that. So it's like, the outpouring of sin that's been in this world, but developed in this country over the years with the freedom of people being able to do whatever they want. It's literally brought on the type of landscape that we're all living in right now. Now, I would say, I don't know, I'd say the landscape you guys are living in, because I'm the type, I don't like to go out much. I don't go do much. I might go to the mall here and there or something. But other than that, I really don't go to many places anymore, because the world's too weird. There's too much weird stuff going on. I'd rather, literally detach from the world. The Bible says detach from the world. To me, I say, no problem, Father. I tell God I have no problem detaching from this world, and I'll just, do my podcast, make content, enjoy my life, living where I live, living off the land one day if I have to, and I'll just enjoy my life. I don't have to be in the world to reach out to the world. I'll put it that way. I don't have to be a part of the world. And honestly, I'd rather not. But this was the one of the funniest comments I read in a while. And the weird thing is, this kind of off topic a little bit, but I'm going to let you guys know, if you click on a page, okay, because I've seen this, I want to do an episode about this because it's so astronomically insane. People are arguing with bots, okay? There's bots. I've noticed a lot of these morons on my page lately. There's bots out there that literally, you'll go on their page, they have 4 or 5 pictures, and it'll say 30,000 posts. And I'm like, dude, my page has been around, this page, for 7 years, and I would be posting regularly every single day. And had all the time in the world. Just post when I'd find something, post. I was posting all the time for 7 years straight. And I only have like 2.2 thousand posts. So that's absolutely astronomically insane. And I believe if you could post that much in whatever time that you've been on Facebook, if you're really posting that much, you'd have to, what are you sharing? Like 5 to 20 to 50 posts an hour? That's just absolutely insane. So there's an idea right there for how you guys can spot a bot. Don't fall into their trap, because they're going to have you arguing on my page like crazy. Now, if I didn't care, I'd say, hey, go ahead and argue with them, because honestly, it just boosts engagement. But I'm warning you guys because, I mean, there's so much deception going on right now, and I believe arguing is not what we need to waste our time doing. I've even seen it. Like, I'll respond to a comment here and there, but I ignore a lot of stuff, you know, from, because there's too many channels, like from Instagram to YouTube to Facebook to Twitter. I'm building now. It just, if I'm going to respond to every comment, that's just not going to work. So people have a right to say what they want to say, unless I catch something that's overly nasty or bad or being very disrespectful, then I'll just block the person. But I mean, there's just a lot of dumb stuff you'll see on my page, so try to ignore it when you can. But no, back to the point of what I was saying. So there was somebody on my page that had said, you know, when you get a job and you get out into the world, you'll see that things aren't really conspiracies and blah, 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 something like that was saying. And I'm like, no, you know what's really weird is it's actually the opposite. When you don't have a job, okay, and you have a lot of money, and you can get around other people that have lots of money, even more money than you have, they introduce you to people with even more money. So when you take a walk up those stairs and you meet these types of people and you sit down with them and you talk with them and you party with them and you've been around these scenes, okay? You see some of the most evil, darkest shit you can imagine, to the point you realize, whoa, the truth is actually crazier than fiction. So saying, oh, get a job, no. The people out working a job don't have a time to think about none of this stuff. They'll even catch my show here and there, but you know, most people aren't that invested because, like this says, they have a job to do. Well, this is my job. I mean, I don't think of it as my job. I enjoy doing it. But that's why, like I said, I retired young, been around these circles when I was even younger. And after seeing the darkness in the world, that's what made me want to start this podcast. Because I was like, you know what? This stuff has to be exposed. And if it is exposed, it's going to change the way people see religion and see Jesus Christ. Because I promise you, if you don't know Jesus Christ, you better get to know him today. Because the evil in this world, and see what's crazier is, you'll have to watch part of the reel that I made. We'll explain a little bit more, but I don't want to be redundant and keep going over this type of stuff. But the ritual that is getting ready to take place, as I'd said, the biggest ritual that's ever happened, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is happening right in front of the White House. And it's happening in an octagon where blood will be spilled. Okay? And they're going to do a ritual type of symbolism right in front of your face that is literally, it's not spell casting, but it's more of, in a sense, a blood ritual. It's the best way to explain it, because they're going to be spilling blood inside of an octagon, okay, on that site in front of the White House. And don't forget, the White House and all of those monuments that track to the White House that are all tied together, all of those things were placed by Masons for a certain reason, because of the, like, astrological placement of all of them and the way it is. It's very dark, it's very demonic, but that octagon is going to be at the helm of that at the White House. So the symbolism is so, like, blatant too. That's why I have to bring it to you, because some people just don't even see it. And I'm like, man, how can people not see that one of the biggest rituals that, I promise you, after this happens, you guys are going to see a big type of spiritual shift in this world. It's really going to truly show when the spiritual shift brings the whole world into a different state of darkness. A type of darkness that you're actually going to feel. Because I know some people think they can feel it now. Wait till they go fully through with all this. You're really going to see darkness on a level you couldn't imagine. But people need to remember, this is just the beginning, okay? June is just the beginning of the summer rituals that I believe this year is going to start in the direction of changing things that we know forever.